Well, hey there, guys. Greetings and salutations from Las Vegas, Nevada at the 2023 Cinemacon. Of course, we did a little intro thing this morning, but we have just gotten out of the first kickoff studio presentation of Cinemacon. Sony Studios came out hot and swinging. I'm, of course, joined by Rob, Kris, Ray's back there, and we'll be swinging in here too in just a little bit. And most importantly, you guys are here, and it is good to have you all here as our first studio presentation thing. We get kicked off with it. So first, we should kind of mention that as they often do, studio heads come out, Sony doing a lot of boasting and bragging as they did last year, and rightfully so, about how, hey, well, all the other studios here doing presentations this year or got their attentions divided with streaming stuff. And remember when it looked like streaming was going to be it? How's it all looking now? I mean, there was a lot of joking about that.
And he made the point that Rothman said, look, Sony is still the only studio that's exclusively dedicated to theatrical exhibition.
Don't have no streaming services or
No.
anything.
Nope, and they were completely dedicated to theatrical, and they're saying, remember a couple years ago, it's like, oh, everybody's good. But now it goes, now all the studios are starting to do things our way. And
Right.
so they took a bit of a victory lap on that.
Yeah. I love Rothman's bravado, by the way. It's so fun.
He's a showman, man. I like listening to him.
He was great last year. He was like, he's my favorite studio head on stage. You know what's going to be interesting?
Paramount.
Yeah,
The Paramount guy was great. You know who else is great? The CEO of NBC Universal. Oh, he won't be here this year. For those of you who know, he got fired yesterday. But we'll talk about that later.
No,
no, probably not.
Yeah.
That will make the Universal presentation very interesting. Saying, so you might
When is the Universal? Who was that? Oh, yeah, the Universal. Universal's Universal.
Is it yesterday? No, yesterday. Is it tomorrow?
I think
No, it's on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's Disney
Wednesday
and
is
then
Universal.
Google Doc.
Yeah, but for now, we're here to talk about the Sony thing. The
They
Sony
opened.
presentation, I thought they were strong. There was only one movie that they showed, any stuff that I looked at and said, I'm not interested in that. And that's Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell's,
Powell.
what's it called again?
Nobody.
Anybody But You.
Anybody but you. And
Anybody
I
you.
love both of those actors.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
love them so much.
And it does not look good. Now,
Well,
go ahead.
I have to say, before they introduced whatever they showed, they just said, hey, here's a bunch of dailies.
Exactly.
Meaning it wasn't a prepared trailer.
Right.
So maybe that's where they went wrong there. Like, not a lot. I wasn't, okay, they're two good-looking people sleeping with each other. I don't need to, that's not interesting to me.
It also looked just ordinary. We'd seen things like that before, but that doesn't mean when it's cut together it won't be better.
Their presentation before that was way better than what we saw. Their dynamic on stage, the live,
Yeah.
the asshole and the, you're an asshole. That was way better than what we saw in those dailies. We saw that a lot more on stage than we saw in the footage that we
True.
watched.
And most rom-coms are formulaic. Everything basically goes back to Much Ado About Nothing. And we know that we're getting this kind of very hate-filled relationship where people have sexual tension and everything. So maybe once there's an actual trailer, it's going to be better. So I'm really glad you brought the dailies part of it, Ray.
Because that wasn't a trailer.
It's just a few shots of them,
And
making
they're
out.
sexy as hell.
Yeah.
And then both of them are
Here's the other thing. They showed us this. I can't tell you what that movie's about.
No, I can't either.
And I wouldn't know the hate thing unless they told me that, because it's just two people who seem like they're together.
Yeah, if we didn't have the two stars on stage explaining the trailer first, the trailer would have been completely meaningless.
But I think it's unfair that that wasn't
Great
a
man,
trailer.
Glenn Powell looked great.
Yeah.
Glenn Powell's stupid.
I love Glenn
So
Powell.
cute.
I love
He's
Glenn
so
Powell.
cute, but man, I want to work out like Glenn Powell does.
Yeah.
By the way, I should point this one thing out too.
One day.
The before Sony's presentation started, the new head of NATO, which is the North American Theater Owners, so they're the ones who put on Cinemacon. The brand new head of it, like he came out and gave this big speech about, hey guys, nobody take out your phones and record it, and that was
Right.
fine. But then he said something really stupid. He says, oh, and guys, don't talk about what you see here. Like, keep it to yourselves. Like, just go back home and keep it to yourselves. I'm like, what kind of moron are you? Like the reason you're showing all this stuff is to get people excited. That's why Top Gun Maverick was such a big hit.
Yes.
You showed it here and got everybody excited. He said, oh yeah, don't talk about it here. Well, it's like, good luck with that.
No, I totally agree.
I was next to Taylor and he goes, oh shit.
Yeah,
No, you can still talk about it.
Yeah, no, like that.
It's not Fight Club, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he's a super smart guy and is going to do a great job as the new head of NATO. All that kind of stuff. It's just that one comment was really, really dumb.
Yeah.
Let's get down to the meat now.
All right.
We talked about the thing that we didn't get.
Yeah, we did not like the Anybody But You.
Right.
They led off with a movie that we've never even talked about, which is the guy who directed I, Tonya. He's doing a new movie about the GameStop meme stock called Dumb Money. And it's being led by Paul Dano.
This cast.
The director and Paul Dano came out on stage and they talked about the cast. So you got obviously Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, you've got
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, who looked so good in this.
Pete Davidson.
So good.
Pete Davidson. Who's the dude who played, who's in Amazing Spider-Man, who played Osborn?
Daniel
DeHaan.
Oh, yeah.
Dane
I was like, I was
Dane
thinking-
DeHaan.
You've got America Ferrera in there.
America Ferrera. It's a
Aaron
big
Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers' ex-girlfriend.
Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley.
is in this. The guy from Hamilton, Rojas. What's his first
Oh,
name?
Anthony Rojas.
Yes.
is in it.
Ramos. Anthony Ramos.
Ramos,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
And
Transformers guy.
I'll tell you what, we've never talked about this film.
No.
I turned to Ann and I said, this movie is now in the conversation for me as my most anticipated film of the year.
Wow, really?
Right up there with Dune.
Really?
So
Yeah.
good.
It really hit that way with you?
I thought it looked. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of
The
Steve
Big Short.
Carell, The Big Short.
Yeah.
Yep. Reminded me a lot of
That's
The
what we were
Big Short.
talking about before. Because we got to see like the first 10 minutes or so of it,
Yeah.
the actual opening, and it looks really, really interesting.
I think, no, we actually saw, if that's the opening, it was the part where the stock just starts going up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they all find out. Paul Dano has got to be the guy that I would watch. That's the only reason why I would watch
so
this film.
good.
Other than that, it didn't really hit me as much as I guess it hit John.
Oh, I honestly, I think that was my, other than Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse, I think it was my favorite thing that we saw tonight.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
not-
really- I mean,
okay.
there's like a theme between Air and
sorry.
between Tetris, and now seeing these ideas of how industry kind of works. There's like this theme. It's kind of in the air now. How do these products?
But it looked like, because they showed us like what, the first 8 minutes of the film?
Yeah.
About, yeah.
It looks, the movie starts with the GameStop stock going way up and all these corporate funds realizing that they're screwed.
Right.
Like, that's how it started. And we didn't even get to hear a line from Paul Dano.
No.
But
He's walking around a
His
trap.
introduction
Yeah, it's really
is so
good.
great in this because he's this nerd guy, and they're talking about him.
With such good handle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I
And he
love.
brought down the corporate investment thing. It was, it was really great.
And it looks like the cast was just having a ball
Yeah.
Yeah.
making the movie.
But again, Nick Offerman in it,
So good.
it just looked so great. So that was what Sony kicked things off with. So that's again called Dumb Money. Keep your eyes open for it. I don't know if they put the trailer online now or not. They might have. They might hold it for a while. But keep your eyes open for it because it's now one of my most anticipated movies of the year. What did they move on? Then the Jennifer Lawrence comedy.
Yes, hard something.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
This movie is the one I want to watch now after this whole presentation. I want to see this because this looks hilarious.
And Jennifer
I like
Lawrence came out. She was here
Jennifer Lawrence?
looking radiant
Director,
with the director. And they showed an extended sequence in
Yeah.
the film.
Yes.
It looks really funny.
I was shocked when the trailer came out because I thought the movie sounds dumb, but then I saw the trailer and I loved the trailer. I thought the scene they showed us was even better.
Yeah.
Like, I was
agree,
laughing.
because I wasn't super into the trailer.
No, that's right. You weren't all that.
I
big
was
on
like,
it.
this is fine. It feels like an early aughties
Yeah.
comedy and whatever. And now watching the extended footage, it was really funny. And
It's really funny.
It's so uncomfortable.
It is.
Oh my God. It's so,
I love
and
that.
it's pretty filthy.
It
the
really
jokes
is.
are really, they really,
And
they,
in a way too, though, where all of his reactions, you know, when you first see the trailer, it's like, "Who it turned out Jennifer Lawrence?" But when you watch this extended footage, it's this is so much stranger danger moment.
Yes.
You go, I'm barely an adult. Get away from me.
And there's a wiener dog.
And there's a dachshund in it, and we're dachshund people.
Yeah.
But I mean, once they get into the van in this scene,
oh,
and you know what? The director came out and was talking about how you guys have not yet, in Jennifer Lawrence's Academy Award-winning career, you've not seen her do R-rated comedy. And of course, he's the director, so he's saying all this messages. she's a natural at this. She kills it. I'm like, yeah. The scene in the van sold me. She had
She's gonna be great.
amazing comedic timing.
Amazing.
What was your favorite part of that stuff?
Just, I mean, I just, the lines that were coming out of her mouth were so, you've never heard her say these things before. And one was more raunchy and more inappropriate than the next. And I felt bad for that kid. So when we've seen it in the trailer when he whips out the pepper spray.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I'm on his side.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't in the trailer, but now I'm like, I'm on your side, buddy. You got to get this chick away from you.
I gotta say that kid, the way he reacts to this Jennifer Lawrence has got to be like the best. Other than it reminds me of Michael Cera in Superbad.
Yes.
And he didn't do a lot. I hope we get more of sort of that
Ray,
awkwardness.
I'm just saying you're way too
Okay.
much. Bring your
Sorry.
mic down further down your chest there. But you're right. You brought up the thing that from the trailer, everybody looks at it and goes, "Come on, that kid would never turn down Jennifer Lawrence." But you're watching this, and you're like, yeah, he would probably want to get away from her.
He's not comfortable at all. And he's great
so
too,
funny.
though.
He seems
The
wonderful.
way he's playing it, like, because I would have thought that too. Wow, you got this beautiful woman in front of you. He's like, yo, she's coming on way too strong, dude. I'm not that kind of
My
guy.
favorite moment truly was just childless.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I can't have my own.
I can't. Why do you want to adopt a dog? Because I can't have my own.
And how that Asian kid,
Dead.
the Asian kid came back in with the sunglasses. He's gonna be good in this movie. Yeah, should be cool. Yeah.
One of the best lines that the I guess the Asian manager, the dude comes back in, and Jennifer Lawrence is saying to the lead kid, "Oh, come on, I'll drive you home early." And the lead kid's, "No, we can't leave work early." And she turns to the Asian dude who's the manager. She goes, "Come on, you can finish things off yourself, right? You have lots of experience of that."
It's just,
Like, it was so well delivered.
And then after that, they hit us hard, right? They went in. It was Craven time. Right after that one, they went. That was the first thing that they showed, I think. Wasn't
Listen,
it?
I'm going to point things out here. Everybody's complaining that the sound's not all that good.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, guys. Just gonna have to deal with it. Like, we're on the road in a hotel and we slapped a sound thing together, doing the best that we can. So
I'm sorry.
I saw the first 500 times you mentioned that Ray's mic is loud. So I saw it, but there's nothing we can do about it right now. So
Okay, I'll make it lower.
if the audio is so bad you can't watch this, by all means click away, and we'll work on the audio issues for later. But it is what it is for now. So there you go. At any rate, so that was No Hard Feelings.
No hard feelings.
That was No Hard Feelings. Okay, so
Right.
then they went into Spider-Man Across the Spider-Man.
Oh, was that first? I thought they went in Craven first, but yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
you know, they might have done Craven.
They did
We'll do Spider-Man. We'll do Spider-Man now.
Okay.
So, unlike last year, they didn't bring out Lord and Miller,
Right.
which was a little disappointing because Lord and Miller came out and gave this great, like, 15-minute thing last
they
year.
were so fun.
But they
Don't
did-
tell anyone. Don't tell Tim.
Oh yeah.
Don't
But
tell
they
Tim
did
about
bring
that.
out the cast. You know, they brought out Haley Steinfeld, and they brought out the kid who plays Miles
Shamik.
Morales and Issa Rae.
Yeah, I mean, so they brought one of the two directors, and Lord and Miller are not directing this. They didn't direct the first one either, I don't think.
No, I think it's
But they're, the main creative forces behind it. The three main cast, and that was big because Anne is sitting right beside me. And Haley Steinfeld is Anne's made it clear to me, the one woman in Hollywood that Anne would leave me for. And so she watches all of her movies, she watches all of her TV shows, she listens to all of her music, all that kind of stuff. And we had no idea that Haley was going to be there. So when Haley came out on stage, like, my wife lit up like a Christmas tree.
Aw,
She was so excited. How about that dress?
amazing.
Can I point out one thing? One strange thing.
What's that?
And I may be jumping the gun. As they brought out Issa
Rae.
who in the comics, if everyone's familiar with Spider-Woman, I love the character Jessica Drew, that version of Spider-Woman.
Mm-hmm.
She plays a completely different one in this. They didn't show a scene with her in it.
No, they didn't.
I did think that was interesting.
That was really weird, right? To bring her out.
She's only referenced in it, right?
Right.
I have this incredible mentor who's teaching me so much, and I've learned so much about things. But it's really interesting we didn't see that footage because we did last year.
Last year they showed us a lot of her though.
Yeah.
Right, so last year they showed us like 15 minutes. This year they showed us 14 minutes, with maybe 1 minute of overlap
Yeah.
Because we did see the whole last
Yeah.
year. They showed us him laying in his room and then her popping up.
They added new music to that part.
They did.
And that was a
Very
great
exciting.
song.
Oh,
Great
it's
song.
such a good song.
It was wonderful.
It's beautiful.
It's
beautiful.
The
animation.
the artwork and the shot choices, those wide shots of Gwen and Miles.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And they had different shots this time. They had the side view. Like
That was
Mario did.
it was so
And,
good.
and then how they kept to the comic book things right, like during specific leaps. I can watch that stuff all day. The creative team there has a way of inputting these filters during action or small parts.
Yeah.
It's really great.
It looks astonishing,
Yeah.
and all emotional. The character interplay is just
Yeah.
incredible.
That was a beautiful mom moment that we got to watch.
Oh
that
my
was just.
But there were like 3 beautiful mom moments all packed in.
Yeah.
This is the thing that makes Spider-Man, this Miles Morales movie version of Spider-Man, so incredibly great is, in the first one, it's, the multiple dimensions and it's a fighting Kingpin and these big guys. That's not what this series is about. The
Yeah.
series is about this growing up kid, Miles Morales, and him dealing with his relationship with his family versus him dealing with the relationship that he has to this new persona of Spider-Man that he inhabits. And this 14 minutes that they dived into here was a perfect reflection of that. It was funny, but it was warm and beautiful. And then when the screen went black, I was like, no.
That's how I felt. I'm like, it was shocking. I'm like, no. It literally felt physical when the screen went black. I wanted to. I don't think I've wanted to see something that much continue in a long time.
What's funny?
I'm like, why does this have to end now?
Yeah.
And what's funny?
Why now?
What's funny? There were still rough patches in that thing.
Oh, it's still some
I'll watch
unfinished
that
animation.
whole movie like that if I have to.
I just wish it at least faded out because it just got to black.
Yeah.
Here,
And I was like, no.
Seinfeld right here coming in.
Woo!
But I mean, yeah, like last year, at least half of it was unfinished animation.
Yeah.
This year, there was still about a good 15% of it. Like, because you'd see Gwen and Miles talking from one camera angle, and then the camera angle would change, and it's like very rough, unrendered,
Yes.
improperly rendered
I'm just
stuff. So
We're pretty dark back here.
I'm
Me and Ann are really dark back here.
Tannis is in the back.
Yeah.
I was astonished though. There's the quality of this animation. They've improved upon the first film.
yeah,
I think it really. I don't know. It's hard to explain because the animation's so unique. But my God, is it beautiful?
so
They've
pretty.
upped the ante.
you know what does throw me off a bit? It feels like it's shot in 15 frames a second. Sometimes there's some scenes that
Oh, yeah.
that it's and I understand it's not supposed to feel like the smoothest 60 frames per second, but
Right.
sometimes it feels so choppy that that's the part of this animation style that sometimes pulls me out of the movie a little bit. Is that it does feel like it's like 10
Did you
frames
feel
a
that way
second
in the original one?
in moments, but
Okay.
then I don't know. I felt like the original movie was smoother than some of the footage we saw in this.
Because I do think they are probably going to do that. I think they're going to smooth that out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be
Yeah,
like,
hopefully that's part of the unfinished.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Because you have things, on like Netflix, like a Dragon Prince or like that horrible Godzilla animated series where you're just like, what's happening? Why is it a flip book? But I think this will have a little bit more of like a legato instead of a staccato.
With the best part about the Spider-Verse, what we saw are the little nuances that I would never even think of. Remember how she shot the webs in order to sit upside down, and she like tied her hair up because she was gonna get into a conversation.
That
with,
was great.
Miles, just
That
those
was
little
great.
things you notice. I was like, you didn't have to put that in there,
Right.
but I love that I noticed you did.
no, it's
Like when she was about to talk to Miles and she tied her hair up. I thought that was a great way to change, like, I guess the tone of it without really saying anything.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, I love that part. I mean, I'm tearing up already. I love this movie is going to be great. I mean, I have no doubt.
It was everything I was hoping it would be. And we were telling everybody about how your favorite moment of the year so far is seeing Haley Steinfeld come out on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful Haley.
you know what
Panel so far.
you know what I loved about
Anne's first panel presentation she's ever been to at Cinemacon.
what they showed did not get into all of the Spider-Man. They made a mention of it,
Yep,
but they
we didn't see
get
a
in-
single extra Spider-Man.
which I thought was great. That they held off all of that from this presentation. I love that it was all character and emotion. It was Miles dealing with the women in his life.
But
And I really liked that. I thought it was great.
But we do get what is going on, right?
Oh.
She's not allowed to do this mission, whatever they're into, right? And then
Yeah.
we're gonna find out why 2099 doesn't want him to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they didn't get into the plot. I feel like there's still a lot more to discover in the movie.
Right.
I don't feel like I've seen all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they left a lot out. You know what's the key? The key for all that working about, you're talking about the emotion of it, the mother moments, all that. It works because the dialogue is flawless.
Yeah, it's great.
You know, like we saw some stuff tonight, and we've all seen movies where you've got the right setup, you got a good set of characters, you got a good thing that's going on, and then it's kind of ruined by the dialogue not working.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, like even there's a moment where Miles has been grounded, but he's about to go chase off after Gwen, and the mom gives him permission to go chase off. And there's this little moment where it's a simple little verbal exchange, where the mom basically says, and I'm not going to get it completely accurate here, but basically says, hey, just because I'm letting you go chase after her, you're still grounded later. He goes, got it. She goes, no. I know I said it with a smile on my face, so you might think I'm joking, but you're still grounded. But every word was so perfectly crafted that it felt so natural.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it all work.
Yeah, I totally agree with
And
you.
I'm jealous of all the Spanish speakers. I want to get my Spanish down.
So you can
before
understand
comes out.
everything?
I want to know everything that
No,
mom
I
says.
was like every fourth word was like, shit, God damn it, why don't I know this? But one of the reasons why, okay, I'm going to geek out for a second.
Okay.
One of the reasons why this dialogue is so good too is because they lead into that pre-life aspect of voiceover. So a lot of times in voiceover, we're like very, very like big and zany, right? And this is all very, very grounded dialogue where we have starts and stops. We have a lot of what's called plussing, where there's like laughter, levity, breath, things like that. And it makes it feel so much more realistic. So when you hear them talking, it's so conversational that you're just like, yeah, of course, this is just how a family talks. And they nail it. So the people who are doing the direction of this, so good.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, I almost died in my seat where Miles's parents see him talking to Gwen from a distance, and the mom has two quick lines. The first line is, she looks old enough to vote. And then she says what was the second thing she said? Before they even go up there. She says,
does she
I don't think she speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
oh yeah, she doesn't even speak. Yeah, she says, she looks old enough to vote. And then the dad is like, okay. And then she's like, I bet she doesn't even speak Spanish.
I died over she looks old enough to vote.
Oh,
yeah.
With my own policy.
Right.
Oh yeah, have you voted in two
Have you
presidential
voted in
elections?
two presidential elections? Don't talk to my friend.
That relationship with his mom is going to be very exploited
It's-
in this film because
Explored.
explored. That relationship with his dad was great in the first film.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they're going to lean in more to the mom thing because
Yeah, you're right.
it's going to be oh my god.
But it's certainly going to be a highlight of the summer. I didn't realize it opened so quickly. It opens June
2
3rd.
months.
June
Yeah.
3rd,
2
yeah.
months. I'm super. I cannot wait.
One question that I was confused of. What came out of her wrist onto that wall? That little spider thing. What did that do?
Well,
did anyone get that?
Okay, so I think once we see more of the movie, we'll know.
So
Yeah.
we weren't supposed to understand.
I
what
don't
she
think we
did
were supposed to know it.
because there's a part in what we saw.
Because she's okay. So we do get a glimpse of Spot, right? That's the guy in the white suit that she was looking at. That's the villain of the
That's
film.
the Jason Schwartzman character.
And clearly that device is something to track what he's doing.
Yeah.
But the specifics of what it is, I don't think we're supposed to know until we watch the
Okay,
movie.
because I was confused.
But that was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It looks like it's going to live up to and exceed the first one. I can't believe how hyped I am for this movie.
And are you worried that there's 2.5 months and everything they showed us still is not finished?
Yes. I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yeah, because that's strange, right?
Yes.
2.5
That
months.
is animation, though.
But not, but this that
This is a
much.
perfect-
They might have
This is
prepped
perfect
this.
animation.
They might have used this and showed it at Cannes or showed it at other trade
You know what?
shows.
I was thinking that part of my thought process was, I bet this is actually all finished, and they're just showing us things that isn't finished yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Maybe yes.
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
no. Okay.
Just no delays, please.
Let's move on to the next thing, which we talked about earlier today. I said, listen, Kraven the Hunter is supposed to come out in October, and we haven't seen, well, Dick. We haven't seen Dick yet of Kraven the Hunter. They got to show us something. Well, Aaron Taylor Johnson comes on screen.
Still didn't show his dick.
Yeah.
Still waiting on
We
the
got
dick
a big.
shot.
But he was
something.
certainly a hunk of burning love. What a slab of beefcake he's turned into.
This dude is
Wow.
like, he's like Hugh Jackman level.
I mean,
jacked
he
right
is.
now.
He is absolutely. You know what? He kind of reminded me more of Chris Evans as Captain America when he first comes out of the
Only
He's
pod.
more ripped than
Only
Chris
bigger.
Only bigger.
He's
Yeah.
a huge jacket.
He was.
He's
He-
huge. Jack
He was
man.
huge.
So the first thing they did when he was on screen, like this is when he was just on the screen talking to the Cinemacon audience, saying, you know, blah blah. We're still shooting the movie. That's why I'm still only allowed to eat 2 carbs a day. But then he said this: the big question everybody's asking, which I've never heard anybody ask this question, by the way, is it going to be rated R? And I'm like, I've never, for a second, thought this was going to be rated R. And he's like, how else is Craven supposed to kill people? Talk them to death?
But
And
he said something in
And
cuts.
then
oh
he
yeah,
said,
this is
fuck
fucking rated R.
yes,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
fuck yes, this is gonna be rated R. So even before they showed us a second of it, they gave us this big thing that none of us expected, that Craven the Hunter is gonna be rated R.
And boy,
It's rated R.
Oh
it's
man,
rated.
That's it.
brutal!
Everything they showed was that's gonna get an R rating and that's gonna get an R
It
rating.
was
This
brutal.
presentation had 2 moments of eye violence. 2 eye violences.
Yes.
And one very exquisite. One was very exquisite.
so-
Never before seen.
One is like I still don't know how physically this is even possible.
It's not, but it haunts
But it's
my knee.
Craven grabbing this guy by the head and then pulling a Mike Tyson, but instead of biting his ear off, Craven leans in and bites the guy's eyeball out and then spits the eyeball out at the camera.
It's incredible. It's all.
Meaning someone's gonna pick that shit up later.
And
he
this much
kills.
power, he literally picks up a bear trap and throws a bear trap over a guy's head.
And
No,
he rips
it's-
off the
Now,
head.
And then he rips the head
That
off.
one was totally fine. It was the eye eating. That was-
That could be a little tongue action to pop that sucker out.
It was terrific. I mean, I have to
I
say
don't know,
it.
the tongue scoops it out. Or,
You know, that's
And then there's a mutant version of Rhino or whatever.
yeah, so going through.
like that.
I liked it.
I did
Because
too.
It's gonna be a real rhino.
Okay, so
How
here's the thing.
real?
We're going through the whole clip, the whole presentation, the whole sizzle they're showing us, right? And I remember thinking about 3/4 of the way through it, I still don't really have a sense of who the villain is. I wonder if Russell Crowe plays his dad. Is Russell Crowe going to be the villain? And I'm not really sure. And it's not until the final 5 or 6 seconds, you just see a dark silhouette from behind of this guy sitting in a room, and you hear in this heavy, heavy Russian accent, but not Paul Giamatti comedically
Right.
Russian accent. Like legitimately, like Russian mobster kind of accent. Now you will see what they call me Rhino. And he hits something and his skin starts to
It
turn,
starts
and I'm
turning
like,
to rhino.
all right, I see what you're doing
Yeah,
here.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I still don't know how I feel about it.
Let's see
I
how
don't
it
know.
looks.
I need to see more of it.
Yeah.
That was one of those moments where I just did a ha, and I said it way too loud, by the way.
I think I could hear you across
From across
But
the theater.
especially when Aaron Taylor Johnson started the presentation by saying, this is a very real world Craven. And all the teaser and the sizzle felt like that. And then, now you will see what they call me.
You
Right?
know
And his
why-
thing, I'm like, okay, that's a little.
And then he transforms like he's Mystique, like he's not a non-blue
Yeah, it was just
Mystique,
like, whoop,
where his
whoop,
whole arm. But I like that was cool.
You know what I like about this Craven
liked
thing?
it.
Why I might be a fan of this character, the way they're doing it, is he's protecting people killing the animals.
Yeah, he's going after
And
the poacher.
I love that aspect of it.
Well, because remember a while ago, we heard news that, in this Craven movie, he's like a wildlife protector.
Yeah, an
And we
animal
were all like,
activist.
No, I'm so down for that now.
But
Then
we,
why
yeah.
is he called Craven the Hunter?
Okay, but see, that's the thing. That's why it
That's
worked for me.
Rickman?
No, that's why it worked for me because it's like I feel like after watching this presentation that the thing is that hunters don't hunt the weak. Like that's what I get. Like he's like you break into game preserves and hunt protected animals, and he's got no time for that. He hunts real game.
Yeah,
right.
The most
And-
dangerous
I'm
game,
down for that.
John.
and then that kind of came out a little bit when he was talking to his dad, when he's talking to his father, talking about they are prey, but we are predators.
Can we talk about how Russell Crowe is just in his like dialect era, where we're just like, where are you from, buddy? What's happening? You're
Yeah, I-
Russian, you're Italian, you're Greek, maybe I don't know.
I would love to see him accidentally slip into the Pope's Exorcist like thing just in the middle of this movie. Just a
But you
little
know, I can't get enough of Russell Crowe in mentor roles. Give me a good. I mean,
bit.
you know,
him as Jor-El.
Jor-El, and now we've kind of got that. Now he's Craven's mentor. I mean, he could be anybody's mentor, and I would watch
I
it.
would listen to him.
I would
Now,
watch it.
sadly, we got nothing from Madam Web, which I don't know if you've heard of.
Not
the
yet.
movie.
I didn't know that.
We got
I don't
nothing.
know if Sony knows.
Yeah,
Apparently not
but
from
it's not
this
supposed to come out in
presentation.
2023, so that's fine.
They
But I
don't know
wasn't-
anything about it.
I wasn't fully expecting it. But I will say this. As somebody who was hopeful for Craven when they made the announcement, and then we found out that Aaron Taylor Johnson was doing it, and all the nothing we've heard, and then we got Morbius, which hampered the old enthusiasm a little bit. I gotta say, I am going to be coming away from CinemaCon with higher hopes for Craven than I did coming into CinemaCon.
So they did a good job.
Fair, yeah.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, look, Craven's Last Hunt is such a seminal Spider-Man story, and I was wondering how are they going to do a Craven movie without? I kept waiting for some Spider tie-in, which we didn't get.
Yep, thankfully. I'm
Right.
glad that they didn't.
But watching the film, or watching the clips, the extreme violence was great. I mean,
It was very
It was
much.
like-
a lot of neck stabbing.
it's
A
stuff
lot
that
of
we
neck-
hadn't really seen before, but it went along with the primal feral. I'm a hunter, and I'm gonna
moved like
kill
an
you.
animal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he really
yeah,
did,
and I
yeah.
really like that. So I have to say, like you, I had no hope for this film, and now I kind of do.
I'm really happy we kept introducing and talking to him as a villain too. It's not this anti-hero bullshit.
Right.
Or like when they were like Morbius, an anti-hero, I was like, get out of here. I don't care. I don't care about that. He's a vampire. I want him to be cooking fools.
Well-
I want Craven to be a villain. I really do. And he's justified because villain doesn't mean I just am like a mustache twirling person who ties women to railroad tracks. You're justified in the things you're doing, but I don't want to have like a let me be on his side, let me see his side of the story. I
Right.
want him to be justified. I still want him to be.
Well,
a
what the
villain.
president of the studio said, like leading into Aaron Taylor Johnson coming on screen, is that we watch Craven's journey to becoming the iconic villain.
Yeah,
So
and
he won't start off as the iconic villain, but he said we're going to now watch the beginnings of his journey to
Yeah.
becoming the iconic villain.
which was exciting to hear.
yeah.
That's very fun.
Could this be a one-off?
No, I don't think so.
If it's
think
hey,
it's
if it's
They might
successful,
ruin this character by introducing Spider-Man. I might like this character on its
Well,
own.
they don't need to do it. It doesn't have to be a one-off to not have Spider-Man. I mean, they can do 8 of the. I mean, they've already done 2 Venom films and
Right,
brought
that's
Spider-Man
true.
into it. So
I now just want this heckin' violent movie with
Yeah.
the dark turn that we know Andrew Garfield takes in Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
And I want that to happen.
right.
Give me this movie.
well, I still like after watching this trailer. Remember a couple of years ago, you and I talked about it would be kind of neat if leave Spider-Man out of it. If you're going to bring in Kraven the Hunter and he's looking to hunt the ultimate prey, have him hunt Venom.
Venom,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so
That makes the most sense.
I mean, that could be interesting, but with all the whispers about maybe Andrew Garfield's coming back, which I do not believe at all, but with all those whispers, imagine them crossing Craven over with that Andrew Garfield
Yes.
character. I mean, that could be interesting. All right. Okay, so that's Craven. So what have we done? We did Dumb Money. We did No Hard Feelings. We did Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Craven.
We did Craven the Hunter.
Insidious.
Underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed.
With what I saw with the Insidious trailer.
It kind of looks. I'm scared very easily. You all know this. I'm a huge wimp.
I thought about you the whole time.
When it was getting announced, I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to see. Shout out to Daniel, fan of the show. Daniel sat next to me and he did if you need to hold my hand, you can. And I was like, that's so nice.
I was holding Rob's hand.
But
Tell him what I did. I dug my head into your shoulder, and I said, I'm going to be like this for
Then
the
I
next.
gently cupped your balls.
No,
I said, are you okay?
It like rattled a little bit too. It's nice.
the
Felt
death
good.
stare you're getting right now is so amazing. I just got sprained.
what's funny? Because no one will ever believe that happened. Because everyone loves me and Rob. We are the straightest men. I don't get any women, but I am still the straightest you could be. Right? Rob gets all the women. He goes to Pound Town.
What? The entire time I've known you, I've had the same girlfriend. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. That's in the daytime. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
You are all the time. I love Elizabeth. You know that.
So
But don't
Insidious.
ever joke that I'm cupping any ball.
So you're trying
If
to.
anything, I'm
I'm
cupping
just
noodles.
saying. I'm just saying.
You can be
were
gay,
trying
Jason.
to be emotionally supportive. You're trying to
Yeah.
make him feel
But
okay.
do you have to include Rob's balls and everything? Come on.
I
don't
do.
cup balls. Say it, John, or I'm not continuing the stream. I don't cup any balls.
I just think you're protesting a little too much.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not think
So-
he cupped Rob's ball.
And I was scared, though. I was scared during Insidious.
I don't know what I felt.
But
Not balls. Not balls
But
at
there
all.
was, but there was nothing in that. I had no reason to put my head in your shoulders because
don't know why
there
you
was
would
nothing
put your
scary
head.
in there.
I agree.
There was nothing scary.
No,
in that.
no, you're right. It was like, look at all these dark images, but nothing in it felt scary.
Have you guys ever gone to like a black box theater show that's kind of experimental in North Hollywood?
Where all the lights are off, you can't see a thing.
Yeah,
I've
and-
heard of it, but I've never been to
Oh
one.
man! First of all, highly recommend. What's up, Zombie Joe's? Go LA.
Zombie Joe's.
But Zombie Joe's is the best. And let's go to a weird Easter show. It'll be great. They do weird things
Yeah.
with eggs. So it
no.
felt
Balls
like
over.
that, where it was just like weird lighting, and it felt like a edgy theater troupe was telling me about something about existentialism. I don't know. I didn't love it.
I will say this: I do like the Insidious franchise. I like.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why I
a
was
fan of the
surprised.
franchise. So yeah, I was a little disappointed. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of the franchise.
Insidious, all the
It-
movies before that, it was always something that freaked me out. This one doesn't seem like it's freaking me out.
Well, horror has really elevated the game. I mean, all these trailers, you look at these trailers, like, they're all pretty good these days. And when you see Insidious, I thought I was a little,
Yeah, like
It's
when,
underwhelmed.
I wasn't scared, and I should be your baseline.
I
for
mean-
having the poop scared out of me.
Well, we're getting some bangers, like the Evil Dead Rise trailers were great.
when that trailer came out, we were all like, "Oh my god, this trailer rules!" But then it was.
This wasn't even a trailer to me.
I mean, Pope's
It was-
Exorcist, The Boogeyman.
Yeah.
What is the one about Come Tell Me?
oh, the hand one?
Yeah. I can't wait for that either.
Yeah, but that's not the studio.
No, I know. I know.
So, look, I'm not saying I think the movie looks bad. I'm
I
just
need to see
saying
more.
I was underwhelmed. Like
Yeah.
I think they got a lot more to show. Let's just say it. So we'll leave it at that. They got a lot more to show.
And then-
okay, then they came up with another R-rated comedy. Sony going hard on R this year, but another R-rated comedy called Anybody But You, which we kind of touched on a little bit
Yeah.
earlier. Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick, which in case anybody in the theater forgot that he was in Top Gun Maverick, Sydney Sweeney nicknames him Top Gun. Just in case we didn't remember, he was in Top Gun Maverick.
I think we talked enough about this one.
Stupidly good looking. Yeah, just again a
We
trailer.
didn't see enough.
Again, when your two stars need to come out and explain the trailer before they show it to you,
Yeah.
not a good sign. So they need to pick up the.
Well,
game
it was
on that.
just, it was clips. It wasn't
Yeah, it
a
was just-
cut
Let's
together.
get on to
Yeah.
the next big reveal.
What was the next one?
PlayStation production.
Oh,
Gran
Turismo.
Turismo.
Which I think might have been one of the bigger surprises of the presentation.
I agree.
I like the game, but I had no, like, it had some great racing footage.
Look,
But I'm like, what is the plot of this movie?
Tomorrow, me and
Before
Rob.
seeing the
Yeah,
footage.
before seeing the
Before
trailer.
seeing the footage.
And now, to know it's based on a true story, I was like, really?
Okay, I gotta continue on this. In the convention, like the little
Oh, yeah.
hallways, they have a Gran Turismo game set up, and we raced. Was it Cody and two of the Cinemacon workers? We dragged them in there. They were the ones that are supposed to let people in the door. We're like, hey, play Gran Turismo with us. I lost. 4th place. I'm not gonna be this kid in this movie. I have no shot. But tomorrow, I say, us 4, 5, whatever. We race again. They're supposed to be.
Do you sit down in these?
Yeah,
things?
yeah.
It's like an
simulator.
arcade.
Oh,
it's like an
okay,
arcade.
So there's a new track every day, and they get the best time out of every day, and you get to win 2 free tickets to the premiere. Which
I don't want to perpetuate stereotypes about women driving, though. I'm a bad driver.
I lost.
Why
I
would I put that
lost.
on the internet?
Here's the thing about this is the interesting thing about Gran Turismo, okay? Like most 98% of all video game movies have always sucked historically. One of the big problems, of course, is that even though a lot of people don't admit it, but video games are not made for their narrative storytelling. Although they do include narrative storytelling, they are made primarily for their gameplay, and they don't actually have enough of a backbone story to actually create a narrative about. That being said, you go into and David Harbour comes out on stage with Orlando Bloom. And David Harbour says out loud what we're all thinking. David Harbour said Neil Blomkamp, who directed District 9, and unfortunately also Chappie and Elysium, but
Gotcha.
he comes out and says, So Neil Blomkamp approached me about this movie, Gran Turismo. I'm like, how are you going to make a movie about a racing game? There's no story. So what did they do? They did something that I don't think any other video game movie's ever done. They went out and got a true story about the video game, and they making their video game movie about the true story. This kid, Nissan apparently put together a Gran Turismo competition for the best video game drivers to driving the video game simulation, and then actually putting them in real cars and making them real race car drivers. And it's a true story. And when I'm watching this, I'm thinking, I have never seen this. What was that video game movie with the kid when you were kids? The Wizard?
The Wizard.
Yeah, The Wizard maybe is a little bit similar to that, but this based on a true story video game movie. And I'm like, you got me. I'm intrigued.
And the reason David Harbour and Orlando Bloom are there is they play the opposites of each world. Orlando Bloom is the one who gets the video game guys together.
Right.
And David Harbour is the real race car trainer.
Yeah.
So that's where that dynamic comes in. So, I mean, I like it more than I thought I would.
And, well, I'll tell you, there wasn't a lot of the auto racing shots that they had in something. They released some kind of a trailer for it online 3 or 4 months ago. And the racing, it was incredible. But that one scene with the car elevate, it goes in the air.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's an amazing scene because they're doing that stuff for real.
Yeah,
It looks
it looks way more interesting than I thought.
David
Yeah.
Harbour crushes in this from what we've seen.
Yeah.
It's so
It was-
fun. Oh.
real pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It feels like
I
one of
thought
those
it was
sports
going to be
movies.
such a jokey
Yeah.
movie.
It was not on my radar at all, and now it is.
Now it is. You know what? It had a little bit of. Look, I'm not saying these are apples to apples, but for whatever reason, watching it, I got a little bit of a feeling of Eddie the Eagle. I had a little bit of an
I
Eddie
can,
the Eagle feel
I
to
can
it,
totally
right?
see that. I can totally see that. Yeah,
there's
that's a great movie.
There's
it's
also
so
the
good.
Great
cliche thing that they're playing. I think it's going to be it's that hard ass coach
Yeah.
that finally gets
Sure.
loving that
yeah.
person that they hate.
It's, It's Eddie the Eagle meets Ford v Ferrari meets a little cool running.
In a different setting, in a setting we've never
Yeah.
seen before. In the
Yeah.
racing
It
sort of
feels like the movie, the kid from Breaking Bad, Aaron
Aaron Paul, who
Paul,
did Need for Speed.
who did Need for Speed. It feels like the movie Need for Speed wanted to be
Yeah.
a little bit, right? And I didn't hate Need for Speed, by
It
the way.
had Michael Keaton though, Mr. Michael
Yeah.
Keaton.
All right, so that was Gran Turismo. So we came out of Gran Turismo, and what came after that?
Equalizer.
Oh, okay. So they first every year Cinemacon gives out some awards, and this year they were giving out a Lifetime Achievement Award, which last year went to Viola Davis. Last year was her, and this year it was Denzel Washington. So Antoine Fuqua comes out,
Oh man, I felt so.
and I really like Antoine Fuqua.
I do too.
He's directed Denzel many times. So and yet Denzel has more Best Director Oscar nominations than he does.
I love that.
Which he
little
made that. He goes, yeah, great. I'm jealous.
Makes me feel great.
It's great.
But he came out and they played this little career clip of Denzel Washington, and he is the man.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, Denzel Washington comes out on stage. And like last year, I think we mentioned when Viola Davis came on stage, like you feel it, right? And the same thing, like when Denzel Washington came out, you could tell everybody in the auditorium was just waiting for them to finally say, ladies and gentlemen, Denzel Washington, to stand on their feet.
Ray jumped to his feet.
Yeah,
I was the
I
first
think
one.
right. Yeah.
He jumped to his feet.
Man, respect it. What was different about the Viola Davis is she had this strong speech and she went with. This one was different, right?
Hey, what am I supposed to say?
He was reading what he was supposed to say on the cue cards or whatever.
And he ignored it.
There was nothing.
And he
It's like
ignored it.
ad-lib.
But he did say, I mean, it was nice that he acknowledged the theater owners and the
Oh,
people
yeah,
that
it's
made
like,
them.
I'm only here because you and your theater houses and stuff like that. And then they brought out
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota
they
Fanning.
brought out Dakota Fanning, and Anne instantly leans over to me and says, "She's all grown up now." It's like, yeah, like I can't believe this is the little girl from War of the Worlds.
Well, I mean, I love Man on Fire, which she was in that with,
She was incredible.
that was the first time they worked
There's
together.
something about Dakota Fanning that's guaranteed to me every time she's on
Oh.
screen. I don't know. She always delivers for me.
She looked smoking hot, but I feel bad feeling that way because I've been watching her since she was a little
But I
girl.
remember ever since she was
not right.
she was the first child actor that I ever thought was a legitimately great actor
Yeah.
as a child.
Well, the relationship she had with Denzel when he played the character of Creasy in Man on Fire before she's kidnapped. That relationship felt so real and genuine to me. And just like you said, she's an incredible performer. And it's weird. It made me realize that was like 25 years ago.
And then she said on stage, like, to work with Denzel Washington once is a dream come true. I got to work with him twice. Of course, very different stages in her life.
The plot of this Equalizer 3, though.
Okay,
my
So
God.
the Denzel getting the Lifetime Achievement Award, great, wonderful moment. It was awesome, blah, blah, blah. This looks like the best Equalizer movie they've done.
By far.
They're doing
But
John
it
Wick. They're
looks-
going up levels.
Oh my God. This trailer was great.
I mean, first of all, you had me at like Amalfi Coast. You know,
Yeah.
you're in Italy, and he's gone to retire. He's living in this beautiful seaside village, and he's found peace, hasn't he?
He's retired, found peace.
Found peace.
I belong here.
The thing with the Equalizer, I think they go, let's get a step up on what this guy, what types of people he has to deal with, and he's going up against one of the worst things you could ever go up against.
But I mean, they've done that every
The
time.
Italian mafia, though.
Yeah, in Italy.
In Italy. I mean, what a great. I mean,
We really thrive there.
But the trailer starts with this bone-chilling line of, you see Denzel sitting in a chair with guys around him pointing their guns at him, and Denzel saying, "I'm going to give you 9 seconds to decide your fate." And I'm like, right there, those opening 3 seconds, I'm like, I'm all on board.
Yeah.
Oh
This is exactly what I want in a movie.
And
like this.
just mayhem, and it looks fantastic, and everything still takes place in Italy. So
Yeah. He's pretty much taking on a country at this point.
Well, I mean, it looks
The mafia
great.
owns
and what he does, you always say wrecking fools.
Yeah.
He wrecks some fools in this
Many
trailer.
fools wrecked.
In beautiful Technicolor. The blood is fantastic. The violence, what he does to people's bodies.
That's the difference between him and John Wick. He's very strategic in everything.
He's calculated.
Yeah, he doesn't need
He's calculated.
headshots
Yeah.
all the time.
Like
He
the
knows-
pressure point thing was great.
He knows everything he's going to do 5 steps ahead, and they played that out very, very well.
I mean, I'll tell you, I want to see the Craven Equalizer 3 double feature. That's where I was at after this
the
presentation.
trailer's going to be good.
So good.
I think with Equalizer 3, as soon as they release this trailer, everyone knows what we're going to talk about. I mean, the kills, we can describe him as much as we want, but let's just let them soak it in when they get to see it.
Well, I think this is going to have a John Wick kind of body count.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to have a
Yeah.
big
Absolutely.
body count. All right, so then after Denzel,
I don't remember anything.
I think there was
after
one more.
Napoleon.
I thought there
that. That was
one
the
more
last
before
reveal, but
Napoleon.
there's something.
Is there something in between?
I don't
thought
think
there
there's
was one
anything
more.
else.
Maybe not. Okay, so
a Ghostbusters shout out.
Oh, yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah. So they didn't show us anything. They just brought Jason Reitman on screen, and he was there with Paul Rudd and the rest of the cast.
I got a little tear in
Finn
my eye when you
Wolfhard.
mentioned his dad.
Yeah, because we were. Well, I know you weren't there, but it was me and
Yeah, but
Aaron.
just knowing the fact.
He tells a story about, he goes, it was 2 years ago that me and my dad were on stage at Cinemacon, like, and Aaron and I were right there. We were second row, right in front of him and his dad, talking about the new Ghostbusters. And now we're back with the next Ghostbusters. This time, like, Paul Rudd is in the Ghostbusters outfit.
The wife.
They're back in the
They're a
actual.
family now.
They're all a family now, and they're in the old firehouse. So they didn't show us any footage from the movie. And that was fine. They were just talking about it, that it's coming and all.
Well,
that.
It was nice, though. It was nice.
It was
It had
nice.
fun.
It was really
One
nice.
thing I want to point out is how tall is that Stranger Things kid
Oh, yeah.
going to get?
Oh, Wolfhard?
He is
Wolfhard?
towering.
Remember,
the ecto.
remember, he was sitting up on
Sitting
something.
inside.
He
Oh,
wasn't standing
yeah,
inside
yeah.
the car. He was sitting down
he's
up on
still a
something.
tall kid, I think.
Oh yeah, he's totally a tall kid, but yeah, he was not. No, he was
feet tall.
sitting down on a
But
big
it was a
thing.
nice presentation. I liked it. It had all the
Like,
feels.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, then they led into their final thing. Ridley Scott's new film with Joaquin Phoenix, Napoleon.
Ice cream.
And Tom Rothman, the chairman of Sony Pictures, he comes out and he talks at length actually about the incomparability of Ridley Scott, the fact that Ridley Scott went 90% practical effects,
Yeah.
only used CG where it was absolutely necessary, and he goes, you can feel the difference. And he just kept saying, "This is epic. This thing is epic. It's epic. Only on movie screens. It's epic." Blah blah blah.
And
then-
they also made a deal. This was an Apple TV produced movie, and they've made it an output deal with Sony to put this
Well,
movie out.
remember, like Apple TV has recently announced that they have committed $1 billion a year to theatrically release films. So, of course, they've got Killers of the Flower Moon coming out, which is not...
No, I think
not
it's through
Sony.
Paramount.
So Apple has partnered up with Sony for this one, Napoleon, and they showed us the first footage ever for it. And it was like an 8-9 minute scene, and it was this big epic battle scene, and you're from the moment it started, you're just completely immersed. It is the word is overused. I know, it's epic.
It's also jaw-dropping.
And
Yeah.
grand.
I mean, and they're sucking in two armies that have teamed up against Napoleon's army, and Napoleon has suckered them in, and then unleashes this strategic attack.
As you start to see his plan unfold.
Oh my God! It was.
Brutal.
The
The
use
horses.
of the blood.
Yeah.
Oh, the horses made me so
I
sorry.
know, I was
thinking of you.
burning my head.
It made me immediately want to go to Google the battle.
'Cause
Was that the way it went down in real life?
As much as
So good.
Craven had some wicked violence and the Equalizer had wicked violence, nothing they showed us at this Sony thing embodied what Ray just said. Brutality. The brutality of this Napoleon footage
Because
was
this stuff
next
happened.
level because it felt real.
Yeah.
And because it was real, but it was, and like you put yourselves, there were moments in this scene where you're putting yourselves in the shoes of the opposing army who at some point are just trying to run away.
Yes.
And they get immersed in hell.
And then right when you think they're going to maybe get it, and it cuts back to Napoleon, and he's like, well, let's end their retreat.
Yeah,
And
block
what-
the retreat.
What I
Block
saw from this
retreat.
trailer about the most is the genius of this character, who this guy was.
Napoleon, yeah.
There's no accuracy on these cannonballs. There is nothing that's accurate about it, but he used the strengths
Yeah.
onto the environment that would help him win. It was a genius plan. I can't believe this happened. If I find out it's not real, I'm gonna be pissed that this did it because it was such a genius move.
And
he
it's
led them
what they
all to
ended.
an ice.
Yeah.
It's what they ended the presentation with. And overall, I got to say, it was a strong start to Cinemacon. And not the best presentation
There was no
overall that we
surprises.
ever
Not
seen.
really real.
But a lot
A few little
Last
surprises.
year Sony was, I think, a bit more.
Robust.
Yeah. Because also, real quick, how do we feel about Napoleon like not being French?
What are you talking about?
Right.
There's no accent.
Yeah,
at all.
because I went,
Well,
he's American.
The only Napoleon I know is the exaggerated version that was
And
in
Bill
Bill
and
and Ted.
Ted.
Yeah.
So then I was expecting to see that guy. Yeah, he had no
I will say this though. Ever since watching Hunt for Red October, when they do this brilliant thing that I had never seen in a movie before, maybe it had been done, where they're all talking Russian on the sub, and then they do this smooth transition where Sean Connery's speaking in Russian, and he starts reading a Bible verse, and all of a sudden his words become English, and we as the audience just understand that he's still speaking Russian, but we are hearing English.
Yeah.
But even as a kid watching Hunt for Red October, I remember thinking, okay, we get it, he's speaking English. Why still the Russian accent? Like, he's not speaking Russian, so we know he's not speaking Russian, so why does he have to have a Russian accent if he's speaking English? And so that went through my head a little bit when we first heard Joaquin, because Napoleon would have been speaking French,
Yes.
not English with a French accent, right? He wouldn't have been doing that, so I kind of let that
just keep
go.
trying to find work for my husband where I'm like,
Yeah.
these people need dialect coaches. Hire Logan Peets.
And the one part that really messed me up, probably my most disappointing thing about this presentation, is before he introduced this Napoleon thing, he was naming off Ridley Scott's best movies. And I was ready to cheer my ass off when he said The Martian.
He didn't.
He
didn't mention The
ignored
Martian?
the shit out of my movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, to be fair, Ridley Scott's got like a dozen movies.
Yeah.
But The
He only listed
Martian.
off like 3 or 4.
I was with Rob. I was holding
The
his
Martian
arm.
didn't win
I
any
was like,
Academy
I'm gonna
Awards.
watch
Man, I did
it. Won
love.
Comedy of the Year.
Are you sure that wasn't the time you were
did not
cutting
win
my balls?
Comedy of
At Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes
Oh.
are pieces of horse shit. That
But
don't-
it won Comedy of the Year. I thought it was real funny. It's the
The Martian's a
It was
great,
a great
movie.
Did you hear
It
that?
did. It won Best Comedy at
That makes me
Golden Globes.
sad.
That's why Golden Globes.
Well,
I
it won
I don't love
Golden Globe Award winning The Martian.
But I do love the Martian's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
a film.
But it looks. Look, I'm very excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not. I mean, I was looking forward to it. Today, I'm excited.
And did everyone catch that part where in the beginning he said, we have 23 films But at the end, he said, "We just showed you 20 films." So there's 3 more they didn't
No,
mention.
no. What he said was last year they released 23 films.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Then
Let's
this
cut that
year,
out.
but they did not show us.
Not live, it's okay, we'll edit it.
No, there's a lot they haven't
They showed
shown.
us like 7 films this year, not 20.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he was talking about there. But that was the start to Cinemacon and what we got out of the Sony presentation. I cannot wait for you guys to see the stuff that they showed
Yeah,
us.
it's really impressive.
It was very, very exciting stuff. Now, tomorrow,
Big day, baby.
big day. It
Early
starts
day.
at 8:30 in the morning for us with a 4-hour block Warner Brothers presentation. Now, it's not just Warner Brothers presentation. It's also like a bit of a state of the industry thing by Cinemacon and the Warner Brothers presentation. There may not be a surprise screening. I suspect there will be. That will end at 12:30, which means we will be live tomorrow at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Time, Los Angeles time. We will go live with our Warner Brothers presentation recap. And then at 4:15 p.m. tomorrow, we see, everybody except
Right
Kris,
here.
we see Flash.
And she's happy about it.
And so that goes till about, I think, 6:30 or 7, whatever.
yeah.
So about 7:30 or 8, we will do a non-spoiler kind of review reaction for Flash. So we got 2 big live streams tomorrow. And then, of course, Wednesday's a big day. Thursday's a big day. All this stuff coming from Cinemacon. So, guys, that will do it for us for tonight. For our Sony reaction and recap of the Sony Pictures presentation here at CinemaCon 2023. Again, No Hard Feelings looks amazing. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse looks so freaking good. Dumb Money is now, boom, on my radar. Craven looks better than I thought it would. We'll see how that all turns out. And Napoleon. Napoleon looks so great. A lot of things to be excited for about. Okay, so for Rob, for Kris, for Ray, thank you, baby, and for being here. My name's John Campea, guys, and we will see you tomorrow for the Warner Brothers presentation recap. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
You let him call you baby?